Hello. In the last session, we have actually discussed the working of a reciprocating pump. In fact, we have discussed what is a reciprocating pump, in which category it includes, the components, the working, the classification, and also we have discussed what is a slip. And another important topic was indicator diagrams. We have in fact discussed on simple indicator diagram. Then we have discussed what is an accelerating head and what is a frictional head, and the indicator diagram covering all these heads. Now we will discuss another important component of a reciprocating pump, which is known as an air vessel. An air vessel is nothing but a closed chamber, as you can see here. It is a closed chamber with compressed air in it. It is a small chamber, a closed chamber with compressed air in it. When the liquid enters from the bottom, it compresses the air further, and when the liquid leaves the chamber, the compressed air will be occupying the entire chamber. And an air vessel is provided both on the suction and delivery side, as you can see here, on the suction side and also on the delivery side, as close to the cylinder as possible. And by connecting an air vessel, the accelerating and the frictional heads can be avoided. And how, that will be explained here. Now we will look on. First, we will recollect the movement of the piston in the cylinder. When the piston moves from inner dead center to outer dead center, it will be a vacuum created on this side of this piston, and actually the water will be sucked in from the suction side. And during the motion of the piston from outer dead center to inner dead center, it pushes that liquid, opening the delivery valve into the delivery pipe. This is a simple working of a single acting reciprocating pump. But we have discussed that in movement of the piston during the suction and delivery strokes, the piston is not moving uniformly. For example, if we consider the suction stroke, when the piston moves from inner to outer, during the first half of the movement, the piston is accelerating, and during the second half of the movement, it is decelerating. So the piston will be accelerating and then decelerating. Similar is the case with the delivery stroke. The piston will be accelerating during the first half, and during the second half, the piston will be decelerating. And because of this acceleration and deceleration of the piston, the flow on the cylinder should be accordingly. That means during the first half, when the piston is accelerating, the flow in the cylinder should be more than the average flow. For that, the liquid in the suction pipe also need to be accelerated. That means the velocity in the suction pipe should be more than the mean velocity. But by connecting an air vessel close to the cylinder in the suction pipe, what happens is that this extra requirement of flow, this additional requirement of flow over the average flow, is met by the water stored in the air vessel. That means air vessel supplies this extra amount of water over the average flow to the cylinder, so that the velocity in the suction pipe need not to be accelerated. It will be maintained the same average flow or mean velocity. So as the piston moves from inner dead center to the first half of the stroke, the piston is accelerating, and because of this acceleration, the flow in the cylinder should be more than the average flow. For this, to meet this, actually the velocity in the suction side also need to be accelerated, should be more than the average. But this is made actually possible by the water supplied by the air vessel, so that the major portion of the suction pipe below the air vessel, the velocity is maintained as average itself. The acceleration of liquid in that part of the suction pipe is not required to meet the extra flow required in the cylinder at the time of acceleration of the piston. And during the second half of the suction stroke, the piston is decelerating. That means the flow in the cylinder should be less than the average flow. For that, the velocity in the suction pipe actually need to be retarded. But what happens is that it is not retarding, it is maintaining the same mean velocity in the suction pipe, but that extra amount of water is actually supplied to the air vessel, and the flow to the cylinder is actually maintained less than the average flow. So during the first half of the rotation of the crank and the movement of the piston is accelerating. So the average flow required in the cylinder is more. The flow requirement in the cylinder is more than the average. So the extra amount of water required is actually met by the air vessel supplying the water to the cylinder. During the second half of the first stroke or the suction stroke, the piston is decelerating. So the flow requirement in the cylinder is less than the average. So this flow requirement, this is actually made possible by entering water from the suction pipe into the air vessel, so that the flow requirement to the cylinder is made less than the average flow. This is what is happening by connecting an air vessel in the suction side. And what happens in the delivery side? During the first half of the delivery stroke, the piston is accelerating. So what happens? It pushes the water with an accelerating head. So what happens? The velocity in the delivery pipe will also increase. So this extra amount of water is actually entering into the air vessel, maintaining the other portion of the delivery pipe beyond the air vessel as mean velocity itself. Understand? Now, what happens during the second half of the delivery stroke? The piston is decelerating. So the velocity pushed by the piston, velocity of water pushed by the piston also will be retarding. That will tend to reduce the velocity of the delivery pipe below the mean velocity. But the mean velocity is maintained by extra amount of water from the air vessel. Now, thus, the velocity in the suction pipe and the delivery pipe is maintained at mean velocity, although the flow requirement inside the cylinder varies. This is actually done or made possible by fitting the air vessel close to the cylinder. This is how the air vessel eliminates the accelerating head in the suction and delivery pipe and maintains the velocity in the suction and delivery pipe at mean velocity or average velocity. Now we will look on how this air vessel help in saving the work done or in eliminating the frictional head. For example, I am using the same book itself. I am not writing. It is clear here, that's why I am not going to write. Okay. So how the work is saved by fitting an air vessel? For that we have to first analyze what is the work done without an air vessel and then the work done with an air vessel. And if we take the average, we will get the work saved in connecting an air vessel. The work done against friction without connecting an air vessel, we have already discussed that. That is the frictional head loss. Frictional head loss without an air vessel. The formula is the Very familiar equation, HF is equal to 4FL V square by 2GD. And what is this V? This is the velocity of water in the pipe when we are not connecting an air vessel. This equation we have derived in the last session, that is A by A omega r sine theta the whole square. This theta is the position of the crank. That means the frictional head is depending on the position of the piston. The frictional head when we are not connecting an air vessel is actually depending on the position of the crank theta. And you can see that when theta is 90 degree, sine theta is equal to 1, so it will be maximum there. So HF is maximum at 90 degrees. 4FL V square by 2GD will be equal to 4FL by 2GD into A by A omega r the whole square. The important point to be noted is that the frictional head loss without an air vessel is actually depending on the position of theta. This is already discussed. And now you can see the indicator diagram here. You can see the indicator diagram here. This is the indicator diagram. So this is the pressure head and this is the stroke length. This is the atmospheric pressure head and this is the suction head with the shown uniformly here, and this is the delivery head shown uniformly here, and these are the two pressure heads. So you can see HFD here and HFS here. The value is 4FL. If it is suction side, it will be LS, and the velocity will be this area will be area of the suction pipe. So 4FL by 2GD into A by A omega r whole square, that is maximum at 90 degree. So this will be parabolic and this will be again parabolic. This is already discussed. So this is the indicator diagram considering the frictional head without connecting an air vessel. Now the work done by the pump will be directly proportional to the area of the indicator diagram. The work done by the pump is directly proportional to the area of the indicator diagram. That is, this work done by the pump, say let it be W1, is equal to the area of the parabola. Work done against friction will be equal to the area of the parabola. So if you consider one parabola, it will be equal to W1. Work done against friction in either section or delivery pipe will be equal to W1 is equal to 2 by 3 L into HF, 2 by 3 L into 4FL by 2GD into A by A omega r the whole square. That is the work done against friction in suction or delivery side. That is the work done W without connecting an air vessel. Now we will consider the work done against friction in either suction or delivery side by connecting an air vessel. So what is the difference in connecting an air vessel? What makes the difference, or what is the difference created when an air vessel is connected? The difference being in the velocity in the suction or delivery pipe. The velocity is maintained as mean velocity. So that velocity, mean velocity, can be found out using the formula discharge is equal to area into velocity. Here the velocity should be mean velocity. So V will be equal to discharge by area. Discharge formula is A ln by 60, so into A. So velocity is equal to A ln by 60 into A. A ln by 60 is the discharge for a single acting reciprocating pump. So head loss due to friction will be the same formula, 4FL V square by 2GD, but V here is the mean velocity. Mean velocity is this one. So now we will substitute the velocity V from this equation. So it will be like this, 4FL by 2GD into A ln by 60 into A the whole square. Now we will consider angular velocity omega is equal to 2 pi n by 60. So what is n by 60? N by 60 is omega by 2 pi. For here n by 60 we will separate it out, n by 60, and we will substitute this value omega by 2 pi, and it will be like this. So 4FL by 2GD into A by A L into omega by 2 pi, and this L is equal, the stroke length is equal to twice the radius of the crank. So 4FL by 2GD into A by A 2R into omega by 2 pi the whole square, it will be 4FL by 2GD into A by A omega R by pi whole square. So this is the frictional head by connecting an air vessel. This was the frictional head without an air vessel. This was the maximum value. So here we have already said the frictional head without an air vessel is actually depending on theta, the position of the crank. Here you can see the frictional head with an air vessel is independent of the theta position. That means the frictional head HF value is uniform throughout the stroke length. That it means it is not parabolic, it will be a straight line, as you can see here. So you can see here. So the HF value or HD value, you can see here, it will be a straight line. So this is the atmospheric pressure head. This is the delivery head HD. Beyond that, it is not parabolic. It will be, the HF value will be uniform throughout if we connect the air vessel. Similarly, in the suction side also, this is atmospheric pressure head. This is the suction head, the vacuum head. Then the frictional head HFS is uniform here by connecting an air vessel. So if you consider the work done on delivery side against the frictional head, it will be this area. It is not parabolic area, it is now a rectangular area. That is shown here. So the work done W2 will be equal to L into HF. That is, work done W2 is equal to L into HF value is 4FL by 2GD into A by A omega R by pi the whole square. So we got what W1 and we have got W2. When we subtract W1 from W2, and if you consider the percentage work saved, you can see the calculation here. Work done W1 minus W2 by W1 will give you a work saved percentage of 84.8%. It is a considerable, a significant percentage of work is saved, and that is because of eliminating the acceleration head and the frictional head. So by connecting an air vessel in a single acting reciprocating pump, the work done, the percentage of work done saved is 84.8%. And if it is in a double acting reciprocating pump, you can see here, for the double acting reciprocating pump, the mathematics is same, but Q will be 2 into ALN by 60. And if you do the same exercise of W1 minus W2, you can see that the work saved will be, the percentage of work saved will be 39.2%. 39.2%. So what's my point is that for a reciprocating pump, there is an important component known as air vessel, which is simply a closed chamber containing compressed air in it, and it is actually attached closed to the cylinder portion both on suction and delivery side. Actually, in connecting the air vessel, the velocity in the suction pipe and in the delivery pipe is maintained in a mean velocity. The acceleration and deceleration are avoided, and thus by eliminating the acceleration and the frictional heads, it is giving a work saving of 84.8% in a single acting reciprocating pump and 39.2% in a double acting reciprocating pump. So that completes the working of a reciprocating pump. So you have to do problems. For example, a classical problem will be problem number 511, and it is a solved out problem and it will cover the formulas which we have discussed. So try to solve that problem. So in the next sessions we will try to cover the compressors. Okay, thank you.